So, hey, it's been a minute. Anything happened recently? Seriously though. Just wanted to do a quick update to basically explain what's going on, give an update on what's going to happen in the future, and see what else we're going to do here. So basically, a combination of just life in general, a little bit just being not into wrestling for a little bit, and the other stuff that's going on, gestures wildly at the whole world, meant that I just wasn't that into doing much posting of videos. Got a little tired of TEW, to be honest. But it was more just everything else going on in the world. But things are looking a little better. The world isn't quite on fire as much. Well, it's still on fire, just in slightly different ways. But regardless, you're not here to listen to me ramble about the state of the world. But so basically, as you can see, still got TWW 2020 in front of me. So the basic idea here is I'm going to continue it, but I'm going to change things up a little bit. So first things first, let's just go for the databases and show what I have, because like two things are up. I am going to continue the WCW save. Like, I've worked on it too long, did a whole transfer over, did some edits, so I'm not going to stop with that. So that'll probably be the first thing I post, just because anything else, I'm going to wait on feedback to what people want. But for that, that's going to probably get started, basically starting in the next couple days, and they'll just continue like normal. Same old goodness, Vampiro, Goldberg, Billy Kidman as a heel, AJ Styles and Air Raid as a top tag team, all that fun stuff that you've seen from my booking, along with all the other stuff that you may not like or you might like. But regardless, that's going to continue. The other thing is, I'm probably I tried the Twitch streaming thing, and honestly, I think it's just not for me. I can't do the multi-hour streaming thing. It's just I need my time away, I guess. I can't do that. Maybe I'm just too old for it. So probably you're not going to see any long multi-hour videos of streams going up anymore. And but the other thing is, I'm going to, if we pull that up, if we go to the default and we pull up the games here, so local to global, I am going to continue. I'll need a little time just to remember where I was going with that and everything, but that'll get restarted. So you continue the long stretch of me trying to bring a company from Tasmania up to something resembling success. But the question is, what else do we do? Because as much as I love the WCW save and even this default save, I am kind of interested in doing something else. So two things I'm not going to do is but I also don't want to do the typical thing. So I'm not going to do a 2020 save. First of all, just because honestly I'm not into current wrestling so much at the moment. Between just the current state of the booking of everywhere, my lack of interest in AEW, which is what everybody else is doing, and honestly the whole COVID, no fans, and just all that fun stuff means I'm just not that into it. But there are a couple other things we could do here. So if we just sort of go through here things, this is all the various databases I've downloaded. So so Territory Days, I thought about doing it, but to be perfectly honest, this is a great it's a great database, but it's just not that fun actually playing it. Or at least maybe I could play it and put updates every 6 months or something of what I'm doing, but nothing week by week, because it's 70s wrestling TV, and if I'm booking it sort of in any sort of normal time, it's just not going to happen. So there's a couple other things here. So 1991, the WCW save, I'm probably not going to continue, just because it wasn't that I forgot WCW had so much TV and so much just straight up jobbing, not straight up job, but straight up B shows and everything. And since I'm that weirdo who kind of likes to book things quasi normally, I'm probably just not going to continue it. 1993. See, 1993 is interesting because it's a beginning of a change, and it's also a down period in wrestling. So one idea I've had that is starting a WWF save in 1993, because you've got Raw, the beginning of Raw, you've got the wackiness of Hulk Hogan coming in for a short run, You've got the tantalizing thing of maybe doing the Lex Luger face turn correctly or not doing the Lex Luger face turn at all. Um, or or we could do the mess that is 1993 WCW, because this is around the time that that your friend and mine Eric Bischoff does take over. So maybe somebody else takes over and does a totally different thing. Anyway, maybe I can do that. 95 and 96 is pretty straightforward. In 95, I would probably just do WCW starting with the first Nitro. 96, I'd probably either try to do the 96 from the NWO, because starts at the beginning of the NWO, so maybe I'd try to book the NWO differently. Maybe not completely turn the Horsemen into jokes, or book the Sting turn differently, or something else weird. So from there, we got 2000, which honestly, I already kind of did that with WCW, so I probably wouldn't actually do it. Maybe I do something wacky, like try to save ECW from sort of the depths of its end, or I'd start a new company, or something weird like that. 2010 actually is interesting, because one idea I've had is basically start the women's revolution early. So it would be 2010, and it'd be basically the indie feds of the indie companies of 2010, indie women of 2010, plus the leftovers of women who had been released by WWF. So that would be something. I think something I've actually already started, but I might continue. So if we go here, oops, as I remember how to actually use this. So if we go into the games. So one thing I've started is, this is a company, whoops, that's the roster. It's a pure attitude wrestling. So if we look at the product, it's basically, where are you? Yeah, Attitude Entertainment, there we go. So basically it's, what if in 2010 somebody tried to do, re-kick in the Attitude Era, similar to what's on TVD, it had made less appealing to people with short attention spans. So basically, it's a slightly better version of Crash TV, and I've already booked, where is the show history? So I've already booked a few shows, but it's not that, and it's not so much that I couldn't go over it. This is basically just the first 3 months, and I could go over that things in a video and then go from there. So that'd be another thing to do. And like I said, the other idea with that is just basically starting women's revolution early. Ruthless Aggression, 2004. So that was where I was doing my MLW streams. I actually enjoyed booking for this, so I might just continue that, just in a more of a straight up, here's me, here's a variety of me booking, month by month, and put those things up, as opposed to doing it live. So that's an idea. Then we've got, so the two other ideas here is these two alt history databases I've downloaded. So we've got 1994, and if we pull up this test one, so if we go to the companies, and then I'll just pull up US to make it easier. So basically, this is a world where basically Vince McMahon, gets convicted in the steroid trial, and we have a split in things, and basically we have a bunch of slightly different companies. So we have the AWA with Hulk Hogan, with previously Hulk Hogan, and now has people like Savage, Michaels, and Taker. We have the Capital Wrestling Federation, which is basically just 90s overdose, Lex Luger, Jean-Pierre Lafitte, Adam Bond, Beverly, Mr. Sandman, etc. It's exactly would be something like that. We've got Continental Title Championships, which just seems like basically Ring of Honor a little early, with Eddie Gilbert and Robert Fuller in charge, and people like Eddie Guerrero, Candido, Benoit. So this would be sort of a work rate promotion. Then there's Dead or Alive Wrestling, which is basically ECW and World Class merging, and yeah, so that's interesting. So basically, but if you look at the actual roster, it's basically just ECW with Kevin Von Erich and Coco Beware. and like everything else is basically just ECW. So Global Wrestling Federation, which is basically just global of the time plus Hulk Hogan. And then we've got the NWA, which is just the NWA except Bret Hart and Piper are around, and some other additional people. And then let's see here. I think that's about it. Yeah. So that's an idea, and maybe I'd see which company people would want to use. And the other one is the recently released one by OG Pistol Pete on the forums of Wrestling at War. So this one's also interesting. If I pull it up again, this is just a test one I created. So this one's a little, I don't say more interesting, but it's slightly like, this is still the same basic thing as the WWF. Vince McMahon. Well, this has two things that happen. First of all, Hulk Hogan stays in the AWA, and also Vince uses Savage as his main guy, and Vince basically still ends up getting like popped for steroid abuse. So in this version of the world, we've got let's look at the major ones. We got Hollywood Championship Wrestling, which is basically WCW if it was owned by Fox, with Hogan, Michaels, Nash, Luger, and the various other people here. Then we've got the New York Wrestling Federation, which is basically just ECW, but just like the crappy early version of ECW and no Paul Heyman. We've got Texas Chainsaw Wrestling, which is just like Blood and Guts Texas Wrestling. The USWA, which is sort of just a combination of the world class plus leftover guys from the old school plus USW plus the old Memphis plus Roddy Piper getting signed. So there's that. And World Star Wrestling, which is basically a combination of the AWA and Stampede. And then basically this is like sort of your more sports based. So you got Scott Hall, Bret Hart, Ken Shamrock, Brian Pillman, Henning, then the WWF, which is, Paul Heyman is now the booker, Shane McMahon's the owner. It's the Attitude, it's Austin, it's Cactus Jack, it's Triple H. So the one downside of this, and people have already talked about it on the forums a little bit, is basically like this, even though it's set in 1996, basically everything has already happened that happened before 1998, which I don't actually mind that much because, it's an alternate history, and it's not like the world was that much different from 1996 and 1998, So in a world where there's more competition, I wouldn't be that surprised if they leaned into the whole grunge era, the whole Attitude era, Jerry Springer thing earlier. But yeah. So those are kind of the options. Again, I'm going to continue the WCW save no matter what, and I'm going to continue the Southern Lights save no matter what. I'll probably keep on playing some of these games no matter what, in my private time, because, it's, not a lot going out there in the world. But regardless, so what I'm going to do is there's going to be a link in the description to a survey, and basically it'll basically ask you which ones you're interested in. If you've got any specifics, throw it down in the comments below. I'll also include, I think I'll be able to include a comment box, in the link below. I'll be thrown down there. But regardless, even if you decide you want none of that, you'll still see this fun WCW action and the Southern Lights wrestling action, and maybe some other stuff, just depending what I do. But regardless, if you hung in here and you actually watched this video and you're still interested in my stuff, thanks a lot. That's all for now, so I'll see you around. Adios.